Hello, everyone. Now, as you know, I don't do a lot of videos, not like this anyway, right? Every now and then when I'm taking a walk in the forest or I'm with Al taking a walk in the forest. But at the end of the day, I don't do a lot of videos because, I'm not really a YouTuber. But in 2025, I just made myself some coffee. So I thought we'll have a cup of coffee and have a chat as to how, the Global Trader Club and trading kind of like is looking for us. If you're looking to trade, okay, if you want to trade, first of all, you need to put a few things together in your mind. Okay, what's the reason? Why do you want to do it? When I started trading, I was an accountant. Okay, I was an accountant in Sydney, insolvency practitioner. Before that, I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers. I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Management, and I also have a master's degree from Macquarie University. And when I started trading, I had a vision for it. Why do I want to get into the financial markets? Why do I want to trade? And that vision is still the same vision. It hasn't changed. And I'm, just carrying on with the same vision. I'm not doing anything different. I haven't changed my mind and so on. Now, when people start to trade, more often than not, what I see is, people want to make a lot of money quickly, get into crypto and so on, which is fair enough. Trading the financial markets, obviously you want to make money. Well, this is a bit loud, isn't it? Obviously, we do want to make money, but at the end of the day, it may not be the thing you're looking for. Why? Because when I started trading, I certainly didn't trade in order to make a gazillion. Right? I started trading anyway, because I wanted a certain life for myself. So it was like a lifestyle journey. Because I was looking at my profession, I said to myself, look, what can I do here? I'm either going to get a mortgage for the next 20, 30 years, lock myself in, and I'm going to be stuck in a career which I wasn't sure about. Mind you, the company I worked for, the firm that I did work for, was really great. The partners were great, the managers were great, everything was okay. I didn't have any problems at all, but I was just indecisive about, did I want to be stuck, in a place? Did I want to be stuck with a mortgage? Did I want to be stuck with a bunch of loans and stuff? So what I wanted to do was have a life where I could have my family life as well, and not necessarily get stuck with a mortgage and kind of like pay things off, like a person who has the money to pay them off. And that was the whole idea. Okay, so that percolation is off now. We can get in and have a cup of coffee. So the whole idea here is what you really want for yourself. And if you're not sure about what you want for yourself, then obviously that's the first thing you need to set right. If you want to make money, fair enough. If you want a lifestyle for yourself, which you think, it can be nice and peaceful and quite like, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to live out of the city. Personally, I used to live in the city before, and I used to love the city. I had an inner city life, cafes and restaurants and all that. But with the kids, I said to myself, well, let's move out to the suburbs. Let's go to a place where there's a forest, or I don't know, something nice. And this is where we ended up, right across a forest, which we're quite lucky to find actually, and just in front of a stream about 100 meters away, so we can take a walk, relax, and we're out of the rush. But the whole idea here is, what is your vision for yourself? Because if your vision is good and your heart set on it, mindset, heart set, said this is what you want, then trading can be a mission. But if you don't have a vision, then trading is not a mission. Because I see a lot of people who come and they want to, they want to trade like we trade, with time and price, because nobody on the internet is doing time and price. Everybody's got their technical analysis, indicators, quant trading, all kinds of algorithms and jazz, but nobody has time and price. And the reason I developed it was because I realized when I started my career was like, time is precious, because I could see myself doing 12, 14-hour work days when I was especially started at Coopers and Pricewaterhouse and Coopers. I could see myself saying to myself, I don't think this is what I want to do for like 12 hours, 14 hours a day. No. Why can I not choose my hours to trade? Why can I not choose the time for me that's best? What if there is something up, that I want to do, or, there's a family need or whatever. So for me, the vision and the mission was clear. And if you want a long-term perspective, you have to get out of all these impulsive kind of desires and impulsive kind of behaviors that's taking you from, one place to another. So, and this is why I felt like there's a need to do this video. Trading, I think is, for me personally, I think is great. Okay. And I've been doing it for years. I've had the ups and downs. It's not always a great ride, but, with the ups and downs, I was able to come up with things that nobody in the industry is doing, like the PST indicator on the ATAM strategy. We get pricing so accurate that, I still haven't seen it in any professional hedge fund or anything like that. The other thing is the timing. Who can come up with something where you can calculate swing days and swing hours? So these were, for me, along the way, part of the journey. It was like, because that was my vision, to be efficient and effective. And right now, today, it's 7 minutes past, 8, 9 minutes past, 10 past, let's say 11 o'clock. Okay. I don't really have anything to do until New York opens, which is going to be around like 3:30, 4:30 my time, because 3:30 is the pre-trade session. Okay. And that's when I've got the trading hours set up, right? So I don't really need to do anything. So I've got time to do a video. But you have to, for yourself, like think about it and decide on what you want to do. And I think this is really something for a mature person. If you're in your, mid 30s, I don't know, in your 30s or 40s, I'm not saying 20-year-olds can't do it, but, where you have some life experience under your belt. This is exactly when I got into it. It was like more than 20 years ago. But this is like, when you understand, when you start to understand, well, how do I want my life to be directed? Okay. So having that vision and then using trading as a mission. So your mission is going to be like to be good at trading, and doing it is going to lead to that vision. And it's a process. Okay. And this process needs to be understood that, you can't have something overnight. For me, I know when I started trading, it was, a challenge as well. It wasn't that easy, and the platforms were very slow. When I started, it wasn't like what the technology now is, like completely different ballgame. So it was very, very much different. But the process that I was going through was in line with the vision. So I was like taking myself along, and I was dedicating time to it. So even when I was still working, I still was putting time into it to kind of like, figure out how to do, what to do, why to do, and set up for myself a procedure. So being an accountant, I was like, okay, step by step, let's do it. So putting myself into a routine and a framework was the way to go. Now, with a lot of people, I don't see that happening when they come and, they want to learn. You have to understand, I'm not selling any courses. I don't do courses, because a course is an online course is you take the course and you go home and you do it. 99% of people will not succeed with courses because you don't have guidance. Okay, so coaching is a very specific thing. And the reason I do coaching is it's because of a habit I picked up when I was accounting. It's called CPE, Continuous Professional Education. And coaching actually allowed me to come up with more practical ways and solutions to do things. This is why in the trading career program, when we're doing technical analysis, those of you who took it who understand already, we're not delving into one huge topic, because the huge topic is really an overkill. So what I've noticed, that you don't have to take the whole thing. You can take what works. And those working modules, when you put them together, you come up with your technical analysis, you come up with your money management, you come up with a plan, okay? And that's why the 101 Trading Career Program is like a step-by-step. I've got the tools to do my technical analysis. And then I'm just waiting for the swing day and the swing hour. That's it. Once I'm waiting for the time and the price, once I know when the market is going to swing, imagine knowing that in advance, that I know when the market's going to swing days in advance. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to have a fear of missing out, this FOMO thing. Everything is like known. This is a swing day for this. And if this is a swing day, according to my technical analysis, this is the place where I should be getting in. And then imagine knowing the swing hours of the day. You're matching a price to a time at a swing day. And you know all of that in advance. That is how I built the thing because of coaching, because I begin to understand that, you know what, the only way to have an edge if you're trading is to see things before they happen. And this is crazy. And thousands of people have given me bad comments about this is impossible to do. I have finally, over years and years of demonstrating it, have broken that resistance. There is nothing unbelievable about it because nature works in a system. We understand when the sun's going to rise, when it's going to set. We can calculate it. We understand when spring's coming, when summer, autumn, winter are coming. We understand that the day has 4 cycles over 24 hours. We understand all of this. So how can it be that if I can predict, if I can predict the weather, why can't I predict the market? Why not? It's just a matter of finding the right approach to looking at it. And when you bring that price and time together with your vision, okay, you got to have that vision, that motivation that say, you know what, this is the kind of life I want. I don't care what it is. For me, it was a peaceful life. I'm also a spiritual person. I actually teach spirituality 5 nights a week, completely free. I take no money at all for teaching spirituality, and I teach the laws of nature, and I teach people all kinds of things about how to have a higher conscious life, which I don't charge money for at all. It's completely voluntarily done. And this is also one of the reasons why I decided to work on my own, from my own place, without a mortgage, without all these loans, so that I could do the things that I really want to do. Is trading my passion? It's not really my passion at all, but it is a tool to do what I want to do. And in order to do what I want to do more, I had to come up with stuff. And coaching was the best way to do it because it maintained this routine work that I kept having to do. So that was like really, really important for me. And coaching is a necessity, not just for a person who's getting educated on a topic, but also on the coach as well. Because the more you're coaching, the more you're teaching, the more you become a part of the whole thing. It just becomes more and more you. This is the same thing I've discovered also when I teach spirituality. The more I'm engaged in the material, the more engaged I am with all the studying, the learning, the evaluating, the self-evaluation, the inner work and everything, you begin to become a part of it. So trading isn't anything different because the laws of nature do not change. Okay, it's still the same thing. I'm an accountant. From an accountant background, like I said, I've got a university degree and a master's degree. So I could plan out a vision and do it. I recommend for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a university graduate, you've got a master's degree or not, it doesn't really matter, okay? But what does matter is, in anything in life, whatever you want to do, is if you're going to do something, you've got to do it to match a goal, because otherwise you're not going to stick to it. Without coaching, you're not going to stick with it anyway. Without a decent environment that supports you, you're not going to stick around with it, because we need support. And one of the things I found really difficult was, I'm working from home, trading, and it's a lonely business. It really is. I was like, well, I'm stuck in front of a screen, drinking like maybe 3 pots of coffee a day. And I was thinking, no, this can't be right. This is not what I signed up for. And then the whole process, like coming up with the PST indicator. How can I do that? How can I know the price for the week before it gets there? How can I know the price for the day before it gets there so I'm ready for it? How can I know the time? Is it possible to calculate the time? Now, when I said this to a few people before I started calculating all this stuff like in 2015, 2000, even more than that, before that. People said, that's crazy. You can't calculate when the market will swing. Okay? They just said, you just can't do that. But, being the stubborn person that I am, I just didn't stop. I just kept, checking cycles, maths. How can I do this and that? And what kind of cycles do I need? What matches what? What are the pricing cycles which I can complement, and so on. So this whole process, it really is like years of work. Has it paid off? Yeah. Do I like it? Yeah. Is it paying for the things I'm doing? Yeah. But as you can notice, I'm still trying to build a community. Why? Because an environment is the best place we can get good influence from. Because if we're not in a good environment, then what happens is we're kind of like, getting distracted all the time. This distracts, that distracts, and so on. So community, I've just wrote an article about it as well, why the environment is so important. It's not just, my workspace. It's not just having peace and quiet. It's actually having an environment of support. Are there like-minded people like me who are doing this? Are they in my time zone? Because now we're global. We've got people from the US, Europe, Australia, Singapore, all over the place, Europe, in Thailand, okay, Africa. So we have members from all around the world, not many of them, but we don't need many people for a good environment. A handful of good focused people is just enough, because that's the whole idea, right? So we can just focus, build that little environment, bounce off from each other, and wait for those good opportunities rather than jumping in. Another thing I've also noticed with a lot of traders is the impulsive behavior. I must admit, I had that too. With that, I think they call it ADHD or something like that. I also have this impulsive behavior. So I had to kind of like figure out, well, how am I going to overcome this impulsive nature of mine? Because this is a neurologic thing. It's neurology. It's, your genes and your hormones. You kind of like received from your ancestors and so on. These are all ancestral heritages. You can't really muck around with them. Okay. So you either need to take, some kind of a medication to calm yourself down, or you have to work on it, right? So I chose to work on it. I chose to work on it spiritually. I also chose to work on it physically with my work, diet, and also training and working out and so on. So the way I've approached trading was that it doesn't have to become your passion. It can be, for anyone, a tool to attain what you want. And that was for me how it is, because I see a lot of people saying, well, you've got to be passionate about a job. Well, but personally, I've never been passionate about a lot of things. I've never grown up, and I can't really say I was, passionate. I'm really passionate about doing this. I became an accountant. How passionate can you be about accounting? You know what I mean? So basically, the important thing, I think, in my opinion, and in my personal experience, is that if we have the mind and the ability to kind of like focus on something because it gets me to an end, rather than it being all kinds of giving me some kind of an orgasm while I'm doing it or something, that's the better way to go. Because not a lot of people are passionate. Not a lot of people want to keep doing things day in and day out with a great desire and urge and so on. It's just like the majority of humanity isn't like that. However, though, understanding how to do something mechanically, matching your technical analysis to timing, and then trading with proper risk management is definitely something I think most people can do. And I think a lot of people they lose when they're trading is because they don't have a time. They don't have a time. They don't have a setup. So if I don't have a setup, if I don't have a time, I'm risking. Also, we need all the time guidance so that we can get feedback. Where am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? If this trade went wrong, why? So, all these disciplinary things kind of like need to be surrounding us all the time. And this is why courses will not work. YouTube videos will not work. You can't just learn from a YouTube video. It's 99% of the people will fail doing it because they don't have a vision for what they're doing and why they're doing it. And they don't have the procedural steps and the environment and a support mechanism, or someone you can call if there's a drama. Is there someone I can call if I'm making a mistake? Or I've got a question. What am I going to do with this now? Where can I get help? All of that is time-consuming stuff which you can efficiently overcome if you're in the right environment with people. We also give our kids the same advice, don't we? Say, hang out with the good kids. Don't get yourself into trouble. Why? Because we understand who you hang out with is important if you want to have a better life. So in order to keep the kids out of trouble, we always recommend them to hang out with good kids, right? So if you hang out with good kids, you won't get into trouble. And this is the same thing for us. If we hang out in a right environment, we won't be in a mess. Okay? So this is why understanding how we look at the market, how we time the market, how we process the risk management, and then applying it consistently. This is all part of the environment. This is why without an education, I couldn't be an accountant without an education. Okay, so maybe even now, if I want to do something, I need to get an education, right? Because let's say I want to do my own programming for my indicator, then I have to go out and get a proper education. It could be a course, or whatever, but I need someone there to give me that backup. So if I have a question, who am I going to ask? Where's this guy who's teaching me? Is he going to, answer my questions? Is he going to guide me? If I make a mistake and I can't figure it out, how am I going to get some kind of a resolution for that problem? So all of these things are important. And if you have an environment around you, the process becomes easier. It becomes more understood. You become motivated. You are less prone to make mistakes. Your trading becomes more forgiving because you're not running around. Okay, you're more planning. Imagine, the hours to trade. Like, I don't have to do anything until 3:30. That's like giving me 4 hours. And let's say I want to be in front of the screen a half an hour before to tweak stuff and check stuff if we're there or not. That's 3 hours of my time. I could go to the gym, I could go to the park, I can have a cup of coffee making a video, and all of these things. So trading I don't think is difficult. I don't think anything in life is difficult if you have the right approach, the right environment. Because things are difficult if you don't have support. Okay, same thing with life. If you're on your own all the time and you have to constantly deal with things on your own and you don't have support, then it's more problematic. But if you've got your family around you, or if you've got your friends, your loved ones around you, you can overcome things much better, much easier as well. So I don't think anything is impossible to do. It's just a matter of like having the right approach, having the right environment so you can actually feed off it. I think this is true for every profession. It's true for every friendship as well. It's true for everything that we do in life. A good environment allows us to grow, and we can become more professional, we can become more focused, and we'll get less distracted. So a person really is the outcome of the environment. So building a good environment, I think, is the main thing in 2025. Just one more thing also. I do post trading ideas and everything in the club area as usual. But as you know, I'm also building it into a fintech now. So that's going to take a bit of also time, which is great for us. And one of the more reasons, one of the additional reasons that I'm actually opting to build a community, because then we can take this to the software level. So we don't have to do all this, manual calculations. We can just do it instead of working on Excel, doing all kinds of stuff. What we can do is actually with the community or with a investor or I don't know, angel investor, venture capital, whatever, if we find one, instead of building the software like that as well, that's also one option. But as a community, we can also move in that direction. So I'm also focusing on some of that too. So this whole environment thing can be, we can really take it to the next level where we have our own software, which actually gives us the swing days and the swing hours, and we put our ATAM indicators on the chart, and then bingo, then you know when to trade, what to trade, and so on. And this could be really a magical thing. So I'm also working on that. So that's also taking a bit of my time, but I think it's worth it. And I think it's definitely something we can pass on to the kids as well. Giving the kids something extra that nobody else in the world is doing is something really great, because if you go onto the internet, you'll find gazillions of videos, all kinds of setups, all kinds of technical analysis, everything. And everybody's focused on getting rich. But the purpose of life is to be happy. This is why we want to be happy all the time. So trading is not a tool for all kinds of dreams, but for me, it was like a tool to discover how I can facilitate what I want to do in life. And this is exactly what I recommend to everybody. If you're going to do it, it either has to be passion for you, or it has to be a tool which is like a mission to attain the vision. That's how it needs to be. And to accomplish all of that, in both cases, we need a good environment, a good plan, a good support mechanism. Right, so I hope this short video, it's kind of over coffee, helped out. Normally I don't do them, but I'd like to do them. Actually, it doesn't, it's not that bad. And I don't do any of these, editing and stuff. So I'm just talking spontaneously. All right. And I think that's the best way to go. Just make it sincere, on the dot, say what you want to say, and have a great week, everyone.